You're listening to Bernadette Gold Unfiltered, which means you're ready for a new level in business, health, and life. Hit subscribe and share it with someone who needs to hear it. No filter, no fluff. Let's go. I want to talk to you about something today that the hustle culture and even high performance world doesn't readily admit. Your body is keeping score. And it's been keeping score for a long time. See, every stress response that you push through without processing, every emotion you've swallowed because you didn't have time to feel it, every signal your body sent that you overrode with caffeine or willpower, and one more thing to check off the list, it went somewhere. And right now, it is running your relationships, your income, your business, and your energy from the inside, whether you're aware of it or not. Now, I know some of you are thinking right now, but I feel fine. I work out, I get things done. I'm not one of those people who let stress get to me. But I want to say something directly to all of that. I know plenty of people who look perfect on the outside. High performers, athletes, people who go to the gym every day, who've optimized their diet and tracked their macros, even posted their workouts online, and then drop dead of a heart attack in their early 40s. Looking good on the outside is not the same as being well on the inside. And the data is saying what high performance world refuses sometimes to acknowledge. Heart disease is the number one cause of death in the United States. 683,000 Americans died from it in 2024 alone. Work stress causes more than 120,000 deaths per year, making it the fifth leading cause of death in this country. 48% of American adults have reported feeling a lot of stress the day before they were surveyed. And suicide, the quiet crisis nobody wants to talk about, just became the leading cause of death in the US, overtaking COVID-19. These are not numbers about weak people. These are numbers about high achievers who kept pushing past every signal their body sent them until their body stopped asking and started insisting. Now, let me tell you what the body is actually doing when it carries unprocessed stress. It's not being dramatic. It's doing its job. When you experience stress, real stress, the kind that comes from uncertainty, financial pressure, relationship conflict, the feeling that you're not safe, you're not getting enough done, well, your body activates a survival response. Cortisol rises, adrenaline floods the system, the body prepares to fight or run. It's a brilliant design for a short-term threat. The problem is most of the people that are listening to this podcast have been running that response, not for just minutes, for months, sometimes years. And our body was not designed to sustain that. Chronic cortisol does something that no optimization protocol can fix from the outside. It inflames the gut. And the gut, your second brain, is where 90% of your serotonin is produced. Happy hormone. So when the gut is inflamed, Your mood drops, your energy drops, your focus drops, your decision making drops, your ability to see clearly, to build consistently, and to show up fully. All of it runs on the health of a system you've been bathing in cortisol for years. And you wonder why you can't sustain momentum. It's not a mindset problem. It's a terrain problem. The body's the terrain, and the terrain's been under assault, not from the outside, but from the inside, from the unprocessed stress, the suppressed emotions, the grief you didn't allow yourself to feel, or the anger you swallowed because it was not professional, the fear you pushed through because stopping felt like weakness. Let me say something about that. Hustle's not a health strategy. And I say that as someone who learned it the hardest possible way. The body doesn't lie. It doesn't negotiate, and it does not care how important the deadline is or how close you are to the launch. It doesn't care how many people are counting on you either. It's going to get your attention one way or another. And there's something specific that comes up constantly in the high performance world that I end up having to coach almost every high achiever I work with. Recovery. Not as a reward for working hard enough, and not as something you do when you get sick and you have no choice. Recovery as a non-negotiable, something part of your performance schedule and optimization schedule. Here's what the science says and what the ancient wisdom schools knew long before science caught up. The growth that happens doesn't happen during the work. It happens during the rest. The muscle doesn't build in the gym. It builds in the recovery after the gym. The insight, it doesn't arrive in the middle of a hustle. It arrives in the space after the hustle stops. The body repairs, consolidates, integrates during rest. So when you remove rest from the equation, when you treat recovery as optional, as indulgent, as something you'll get to when everything else is done, that's not optimization. You're depleting slowly, consistently, until that depletion becomes a crisis that forces the rest you wouldn't choose. I know this, not just from working with clients. I know this from my own body, and what I know now that I couldn't have known any other way is the body's not the enemy. It's your most honest advisor. It's telling you what the programs won't, what the strategy can't see, and what optimization misses completely. The tightness in your chest is not anxiety to be managed with pills. It's information. The exhaustion that doesn't lift, even after a full night of sleep, that's a message. The gut that's constantly inflamed, or the weight that won't shift, the energy that peaks and then crashes, those aren't inconveniences to be optimized around. They are the body speaking in the only language it has, after everything else it's been trying to show you has been ignored. I want you to take from this episode that your health is not separate from your success. It is the foundation of it. You can't build something sustainable from a body running on empty. And you can't show up fully for the people that you serve when you've given everything away and kept nothing for yourself. You can't think clearly, lead powerfully, create consistently without the physical resource to do it from. Your health is your wealth, not as a cliche, as a literal truth. Because the hospital bills from ignoring all of it will cost you more than any investment you ever made in your business, in your relationships that have been damaged by chronic stress, depletion. All of that will cost you more than any strategy ever saved you. The years of recovery from a body that finally said enough will cost more time than any amount of rest that you refuse to take. I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying it because I care. And because the work that we've been doing in this series, clearing programs, raising your set point, addressing your visibility freeze, breaking out of the cage, all of it requires a body that can hold what you're becoming. You can't build a new identity in a depleted body. The inner work and the body work are not separate. They're the same work. So here's what I'm asking you to do before episode 10. Not a question this time. Just do one thing. Put recovery on your schedule. Not someday, this week. Not as a reward, as a requirement. Because the most powerful thing a high achiever can do in this moment is decide that their body's not the last thing on the list. But I will leave you with a question before episode 10. What's your body been trying to tell you that you've been too busy to hear? I'll see you in episode 10. This is Bernadette Gold, Unfiltered.